We moved to Odessa, New York back in 2011 to be closer to mom and dad because mom had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. The story goes that uh, mom, while cooking a fish, had put it in the oven, still in the package, and the smoke was rolling out of the oven. And dad decided, okay, we need to find out what's going on here. It's more than just forgetting names and details. And so they went, and she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Now, her mom, Granny Keeler, had died in silence her last couple of years. And family lore goes that Granny Keeler's mom, Grandma Umstead, had died at home, unable to really take care of herself. So there may be some genetics there. Yay. um, I had some long talks with God. Mom, some things were funny. Mom would do things under the loss of Alzheimer's that she never would have done otherwise. Throw food on the floor when she didn't like it. Uh, she talked in this sing-songy kid's voice for a long time. I felt like she was about 5 years old. Um, she deteriorated in her ability to take care of herself. She wanted to go for rides. She liked to ride in cars. She'd get somewhere. She'd be there for a few minutes, and she was ready to leave. Um, I remember. I think it was her 75th birthday. We had some kind of party for her, or maybe it was just a birthday. I don't remember, but uh, we had cake, and she had her cake, and she was ready to be done, even with all her family gathered around there. Her last couple of years, she got to the point where, and I know it was very hard for dad to own this, but he couldn't take care of her anymore. She had lost control of her bodily functions, and there was a day nurse that came in for a while, but it was obvious that she needed 24 7 care, and some place that could handle Alzheimer's patients. So she went to the Bradford County Manor, and they were great. They were really good there. Uh, at one point, before she went into the manor, while she was still pretty good, um, I had a total knee replacement, and she and dad came up the next day after the surgery, and she made the mom noises like she felt bad for me and wanted me to feel better. She didn't have the words to say that, but she patted me on the foot and just gave me those mom looks, and that was a blessing. I have video of her, and I may put it on this of just maybe months before she first moved into the manor. Music was always a big part of mom's life. She played the piano, she played the organ, she sang, and anyway, I have video of she and I and dad singing hymn that she was playing on the piano, and at the end you can tell it's a little kid, but she had the words, she had the notes, and she played them. And again, that's a real blessing. a lot. Um, with my theology hat on, I knew why this kind of thing could happen. The effects of sin and death had been let into the world, causes our bodies to deteriorate in all kinds of different ways. But when it happens to your mom, that kind of reasoning goes out the window, and you start talking about, Lord, help this med to work. And the meds that she took, you could tell when they were working. You can tell when they stopped working. And God and I talked about why she had to go through it. And just before we moved to Odessa, it was becoming obvious that, well, we got the diagnosis of Alzheimer's a few months before we moved. Friends of ours up there gave me an article that a pastor had written about watching his wife go through Alzheimer's. And the thing the Lord brought home to him, which was a real help to me, is that on the spiritual plane, that God was still able to communicate with that Alzheimer's person, spirit to spirit. And I did a lot of praying around that God would speak to her spirit to spirit, would help her. I used to believe the myth that, well, if you have Alzheimer's, it's really no big deal because you just get so you don't know anything. And I will tell you, almost every time that we went into the home to visit her, the manor, her eyes lit up as soon as she saw Dad. She knew that guy and she loved him every time. And two, once that wore off, there was fear. There was a lot of fear there. You're in a situation where you have no clue what's going on, and that's scary. Just about a month before Mom died, she hadn't been letting anybody get at her teeth, as you might expect. Why do you want to stick your hand in my mouth? Leave me alone. And the manor found a dentist that would take her in and do dental work. So they put her in a wheelchair. One, she hadn't walked much, but two, to kind of keep her where they wanted her. And Dad and I rode in the van with Mom to the dentist. Twilight sedation. And they took out a bunch of teeth and did a lot of cleaning. I'm sure she must have felt a ton better after getting that done. And I sat with her in the waiting room while Dad went to let the van driver know we were ready. He was waiting outside while the twilight sedation started to wear off. And she had all this packing in her mouth to keep her from bleeding. And she pulled all that out. And she kind of looked at me with a sheepish little look like, I don't know if I should have done that or not. And then she looked scared. And I went to her and I just said, Mom, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And kind of put an arm on her, and she smiled and calmed down. Those little moments were huge memories I'll carry as long as I can remember. And yes, I am worried that Alzheimer's might come to me. Anyway, that's the gist of why we came back into the area. Odessa was an hour away. And may the Lord bless this testimony.